my name is Helly. So in this tutorial, we are going to make a cat with a sling bag. So I am going to use this kind of yarn for today's tutorial. However, you can use any yarn you like, but you have to make sure that it is suitable with 3.5 mm crochet hook. To start, first, we are going to make a magic ring. So this is going to be the hat for the cat. Now, just hold the end of your yarn, wrap it around your two fingers, and then turn your fingers around and hold the end like this. Then just grab onto the second loop and twist it up and release your magic ring, and then just chain one. Now we are going to insert 6 single crochets into our magic ring. So for this cat, I am going to use an X single crochet, which basically means instead of yarn over, I am going to make yarn under. So insert your hook, yarn under and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Now just continue until you have a total of 6 single crochets. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now just pull the end of your magic ring to close the middle. Now insert your hook into the first stitch, and I'm going to carry my end as I work over my single crochet, just so that I don't have to weave it in. So to carry the end, all you need to do is just put the end on top of your crochet hook, then just crochet as normal. Now in the first stitch, I am going to make an increase. So an increase basically means you are going to insert 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So just go ahead and make 1 single crochet. And I'm going to mark the first stitch with a stitch marker. So this part is really important because we are going to work in a continuous round. So therefore, we need to know where our first stitch is, just so that we know when each round starts and ends. Now, continue making 1 more single crochet into the same stitch to complete the increase. Now in the next stitch, you are going to insert 1 single crochet. So this is the pattern that you're going to repeat for 2 more times. So an increase, 1 and 2, and then in the next stitch, 1 single crochet, then an increase, 1 and 2, and 1 single crochet. Now remove your stitch marker and insert 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and mark the first stitch with a stitch marker. So the total of single crochet that you have to make is 9 single crochets. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Right now my work is inside out, so I'm just going to flip it over so that the right side is on the outside like this. Now I'm going to remove my stitch marker. Now just cut your yarn and pull through. And now you're just going to insert your hook into the first stitch and grab this yarn and pull through. And then just insert your hook into your last stitch like this and grab this yarn and pull through. And do it for 1 more time. So this is just so that we can secure the end like this. Now go ahead and repeat round 1 until round 3 and make 1 more to make the ears. Now I have my 2 ears ready. So first we're going to join these 2 ears together. First you're going to chain 1 in one of the ear. So you're going to insert your hook anywhere, but I am going to insert my hook right here so that I can carry this and as I work over this single crochet. So I'm going to take my new yarn and I am going to attach it like this. So I'm just going to make a loop and put it on top of my crochet hook. and I'm going to hold the end while I pull through the loop into this stitch. And then you're going to chain 1. Now take your other ear and insert your hook, and now I am going to make 1 single crochet into this other ear. So this is going to be your first stitch of this round. So go ahead and take your stitch marker and mark the first stitch. Now I'm going to carry all of this end while I work over the single crochet. So I'm going to put all of this end on top of my crochet hook, but of course you don't have to do this if you're not comfortable with doing so. Now we're going to continue by making 7 single crochets. So insert your hook into the next stitch and make 1 single crochet, so that is your first stitch, and then in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we are going to make a single crochet 2 together with this last stitch and also the chain 1 that we did for this other ear. So insert your hook into the last stitch for this ear and pull up a loop. Then insert your hook into the other stitch where we have this chain 1 for the other ear. So insert your hook and pull up a loop. Then just yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Then we're going to continue by making 9 single crochets. So in the next stitch here, just make 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now your last stitch is going to be this part where we have the chain 1. And 9. Now remove your stitch marker and we're going to insert a slip stitch into the first stitch. So yarn over and pull through. Now what I usually do with my slip stitch is I usually pull up a loop like this and pull my loop to tighten up the slip stitch, just so that it's not as visible. Now continue with round 5. We're going to insert 1 increase into the first stitch. So chain 1 and then insert your hook into the first stitch and make an increase. And I'm going to mark my first stitch. Now go back into the first stitch and make 1 more single crochet to complete the increase. Now we're going to continue by making 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. Then an increase in the next stitch. 1 and 2. Then 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. Now go ahead and continue this step for 4 more times. Now remove your stitch marker and we're going to insert 1 single crochet in each stitch. So go ahead and insert your hook into the first stitch and make 1 single crochet. Then just mark it with a stitch marker and continue inserting 1 single crochet in each stitch. So you're going to do this for 2 rounds. Basically, you're going to do this for round 6 and round 7. Then, the total number of single crochets that you have to make is 24 single crochets, just in case you need to count it. So I have 6 single crochets, 7, 8, 9, 22, 23, and 24. So go ahead and repeat this for 1 more round. Now moving on to round 8. So remove your stitch marker And first insert 1 single crochet into the first stitch. Then take your stitch marker and mark the first stitch. Now continue making 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I have here 5 single crochets with me. Now we're going to do an increase for 3 times. So insert your hook into the next stitch and make an increase. 1 and 2. Then in the next stitch, 1 and 2. Then in the next stitch, 1 and 2. Now continue making 9 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now go ahead and make 3 increases, just like the other side. So 1 and 2. Then in the next stitch an increase, 1 and 2. Then in the next stitch, 1 and 2. Now continue making 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now remove your stitch marker and in the first stitch insert 1 single crochet. Then mark the first stitch with a stitch marker. So for round 9 and 10, you are going to insert 1 single crochet in each stitch. And the total of single crochet that you're going to make is 30 single crochets. So basically, you're going to do this for 2 rounds. Now I have done until round 10, so remove your stitch marker and we're going to move on to round 11. Now, insert 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then mark it with a stitch marker. So continue making 1 single crochets until you have a total of 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to make 3 decreases. So we are going to make an invisible decrease. So to make an invisible decrease, grab onto the next front loop and then grab onto the next stitch front loop. Now yarn under and go through the 2 front loops, yarn under and pull through all 2 loops. So that is how we are going to make an invisible decrease. Now in the next stitch, make an invisible decrease again. And then in the next 2 stitches, make an invisible decrease again. So you have done a total of 3 invisible decreases here. Now continue making 9 single crochets. So insert your hook into the next stitch and make 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now we're going to make 3 invisible decreases again, the same as the other side. So grab onto both front loop like this, yarn under and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Grab onto this front loop like this, yarn under and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And your last invisible decrease right here. Now continue making 4 single crochets. So insert your hook into the next stitch and insert 1 single crochet. And then 2, 3, and 4. Now remove your stitch marker and moving on to round 12, we're going to do an invisible decrease for the first 2 stitches. So grab onto the first 2 loops like this, yarn under and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Then mark the first stitch. Now you are going to make 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. So this is the pattern that you're going to repeat for 5 more times. Now remove your stitch marker, and on round 13, again we're going to make an invisible decrease for the first 2 stitches. So grab onto the 2 front loops, yarn under and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And mark the first stitch. Now you are going to make 1 single crochet into the next stitch. So this is the pattern that you are going to repeat for 5 more times. Basically a decrease and 1 single crochet. Now you are done with the head. So first, just leave a long yarn because we're going to use this to sew it onto the body later on. Now just pull through all of the yarn and remove your stitch marker. And I'm just going to do the same thing as what I did for this, which is just bring the yarn like this for 2 times. This is just to secure the end. Now before moving on to the next round, go ahead and take your stuffing and stuff the head. Now this is how the head looks like, all stuffed up. Now we're going to move on to the body. So first, we're going to do the legs. So I'm going to take the same color as the ear. Now we're going to make a magic ring again. So go ahead and make your magic ring. And now in the magic ring, we're going to insert 9 single crochets. So I am going to still be using the X single crochet like before. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now just pull the end of your magic ring to close the middle. Now for round 2 and 3, we are going to insert 1 single crochet in each stitch. So go ahead and insert your hook into the first stitch. And again, I am going to carry the end as I work over my single crochet. So make 1 single crochet into the first stitch. Now grab your stitch marker and we're going to mark the first stitch. So this step is going to be the same as before. Then in the next stitch, 1 single crochet. So the total of single crochet that you will have to make is 9 single crochets. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now go ahead and repeat this for round 3. Once you are done, just flip your work inside out and make sure that the right side is facing the outside like this. Now go ahead and cut your yarn, pull through and remove your stitch marker. Now just insert your hook like this and then just grab onto the yarn. So basically you're going to do the same step as before to secure the yarn. Now go ahead and repeat round 1, 2, 3 to make the other leg. Now I have the 2 legs ready and we're going to repeat the same step as the head on round 4, and this is round 4 for the body too. So first you're going to insert your hook anywhere you like. I'm just going to insert it right here just so that I can carry the end. Now I'm going to take my new yarn and I'm going to make a loop like this and then put it on top of my crochet hook. Then I'm going to hold the end while crochet or else it is just going to unravel. Then I'm going to pull through and chain 1. Now take the other leg. To join it together, we're just going to insert our hook into it like this. I'm just going to insert it into the same space as the other leg. Then I'm going to make 1 single crochet into it like this. Now this is going to be your new first stitch, so go ahead and mark it with a stitch marker. Now I'm going to carry these 3 ends as I make the single crochet, just so it's easier and I don't have to weave it in later on. And this is so that all of my stitches are not going to unravel. In the next stitch, you're going to insert 1 single crochet. So just go ahead and do this until you have a total of 7 single crochets. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now this is going to be your last stitch, so go ahead and insert your hook. So we are going to do a SC2 together, so go ahead and pull up a loop. Now you're going to insert your hook into the last leg where you have the chain 1 that we did earlier in the round. So go ahead and insert your hook and pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Just go ahead and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Then we're going to continue by making 9 single crochets. So in the next stitch, insert 1 single crochet. So go ahead and do this until you have a total of 9 single crochets. So 2, 3, 8. Then this is going to be our last stitch where we have the chain 1 that we made earlier in the round. So go ahead and make 1 single crochet in there. So by the end of this round, you should have a total of 18 single crochets. So go ahead and count your stitches and make sure that it's right. Now moving on to the next round, in the first stitch, you're going to insert and increase. So go ahead and insert your hook into the first stitch and make 1 single crochet. Then mark it with a stitch marker. Then go back to the first stitch and insert 1 more single crochet to complete the increase. Then we're going to do 2 single crochets. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch and 1 single crochet into the next stitch. So you have 2 single crochets right here. So this is going to be the step that you're going to repeat for 5 more times, basically until the end of this round right here. Now moving on to round 6, so remove your stitch marker. So on round 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, basically 5 rounds, you are going to insert 1 single crochet in each stitch. So go ahead and insert your hook into the first stitch and mark it with a stitch marker. And then just insert 1 single crochet in each stitch. So the total of single crochets that you are going to make is 24 stitches. Now moving on to round 11. So first remove your stitch marker, and in the first 2 stitches you are going to make an invisible decrease. So go ahead and grab the 2 front loops, yarn under and yarn over and pull through 2 and mark the first stitch. Now we're going to continue by making 2 single crochets. So this is your next stitch. Just make 1 single crochet into the next, and then in the next 1 single crochet. So 1 decrease and 2 single crochets. So that is basically what you're going to do for 5 more times. Now moving on to round 12, remove your stitch marker, and in the first 2 stitches, go ahead and make an invisible decrease. Then mark the first stitch, and you're going to make 1 single crochet into the next stitch. So this is the pattern that you're going to do for 5 more times. So now you are finally done with the body. So just go ahead and take your scissors and cut your yarn, and then pull through and remove your stitch marker. And I am going to do the same thing as what I usually did for every round like this. Just pull through the yarn into your last stitch and then go into your first stitch, and do that for one more time. So go ahead and stuff this, and we're going to move on to the arms. Now this is how it looks like all stuffed up, and later on we're going to sew all of the pieces together. So for the arms, it's basically the same step as the hat. Just after that, after you make 6 single crochet, you're just going to insert 1 single crochet in round 2 and 3. So for this pattern, I am not going to show you how I make it. It is in the written pattern down in the description box, so go ahead and check that out and make the arms. And I am going to be using the brown colored yarn for this. Now you should have all of these pieces. So you should have 2 arms, the head, and also the body. So the one with a long yarn is the head, and the one with the shorter yarn is the body. So now we're going to sew all of these pieces together. So I will sew the head and the body first. So for this end right here, I'm just going to hide it inside of the body like this. Now take your darning needle and thread in your yarn. I'm just going to line up the part where we fasten off this part and also this part together like this. And bring the yarn to the front, and I'm just going to insert my needle right here. So you can insert it anywhere as long as it is close to this part, and pull through. Then you're going to insert it at the top of this stitch like this and pull through. Then insert it into the next stitch right here like this and pull through. So you're just going to do this until you have finished sewed it all up. Now I am finishing up my last stitch. Now as you can see, make sure that there is no gap. And once you have done sewing it all up, you're just going to weave in this excess yarn. So to weave it in, all you need to do is just insert it at the same place where you just pull through, and then just go through anywhere you like and pull through. Then I'm going to do this one more time. Then cut your yarn, and you can use anything you have and poke this yarn into the head or the body to hide it. Now we're going to sew the first arm, so go ahead and take your darning needle and thread in your yarn. So to sew it on, it is going to be the same step as how we sew the head. So I'm going to take the arm, and then I'm going to sew it right here, and let me just bring my yarn to the front right here. And also while sewing, make sure that you leave a little gap right here on the neck, because we are going to tie a bow here later on, so make sure that you leave a little space there. And also make sure that the arm is lined up with this side of the head right here. I'm just going to go through the stitch and pull through, and then just insert it through the stitch like this and sew it up. Now once you are done sewing, all you need to do is just insert your needle through the body like this and pull through. And I'm going to do this to secure the yarn. So I'm going to go through the same place where I pull through and pull through anywhere you like. Then after you cut the excess yarn, all you need to do is just poke the yarn into the body to hide it. Now the arms are going to look like this. Now you're going to repeat the same step and sew the other arm. Now we are going to sew the face. So I'm using a brown yarn. From the top right here, you are going to count 5 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is where you're going to sew the eyes and also the mouth. So I'm going to sew the mouth first. So I'm going to insert at the side right here. And you're going to find this center. So this is going to be my center part. So I'm going to pull through. So I'm going to go through right here. And then go through the side right here. And pull through. And I'm going to insert it at the center right here. And I'm going to skip 1 and 2 stitches. Then I'm going to insert my needle right here. And pull through. Now from the bottom part, you are going to count 1, 2, and 3. So this is where you're going to insert your needle. And then go through the same place. And pull through. Then just sew this one more time. So go ahead and insert it right here. And from here, you're going to count 2 stitches. So 1 and 2. So this is where you're going to insert your needle. So go right here and pull through. Wait, you're supposed to insert it right here. I'm sorry. I'm just going to bring it right here. From the bottom, you're going to count 3 stitches again. So 1, 2, and 3. So right here. And go through the same place and make this 2 times. So 1, and then right here we're going to make the whisker from here. So insert it right here, and you're just going to skip 1 stitch. So I'm going to insert it right here and pull through, and then count 1, 2, 3. So insert your hook, so insert your needle right here, and then insert it at the bottom part and pull through, and insert it right here and pull through and pull through. I'm just going to insert it right here because I don't have any extra yarn. So I'm using a new yarn for this. So for this part right here, you're going to count the same. So just skip 1 stitch. So I'm just going to insert it right here and then make the whisker. So 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And then insert it at the bottom and pull through. And right now, and 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to go through right here. So since the yarn is like so short, I'm going to tie a few knots just to secure it up. And then cut your yarn and just hide it inside the body. And I would suggest that you use some blusher and put it on the cheeks. So the trick for this is to just tap on the blushers, then build it up as you go so that it won't look dirty and all mess up. So I'm just going to put it right here and right here. Now this is how it looks like once I apply the blusher. Now we're going to move on and make the sling bag. So to make this sling bag, first you're going to make a slip knot. So go ahead and make your slip knot. And then you're going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to make 4 single crochets. So we're going to start in the second chain. So basically we're going to skip the first chain. So insert your hook into the second chain and make 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now in your last stitch, you're going to insert 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to make 3 single crochets on the other side. So insert your hook into your next stitch, which is right here, and make 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch 2, and in the next stitch 3. Now insert 2 single crochets into the same stitch, 1 and 2. For round 2 until round 6, all you need to do is just insert 1 single crochet. So in the next stitch, so in the first stitch right here, you're just going to insert your hook and make 1 single crochet, and then take a stitch marker and mark the first stitch. Now insert 1 single crochet into the next stitch. So all you need to do is just insert 1 single crochet in each stitch, and the total of single crochet that you have to make is 12 single crochets. So go ahead and do this until round 6. Now on round 6, once you are done, remove your stitch marker and you're going to insert a slip stitch into the first stitch. Now all you need to do is just chain 1, and you're going to insert 1 single crochet into the same stitch where you just made a slip stitch. So insert your hook and make 1 single crochet. Now continue making 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you should have a total of 6 single crochets. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn your work, and all you need to do is just insert 1 single crochet in each stitch. So insert your hook into the first stitch and make 1 single crochet. Then just continue until you have a total of 6 single crochets. 3, 4, 5, and 6. So just go ahead and repeat this step for one more round. Now on round 10, first you're going to chain 1. Then you're going to make a decrease in the first 2 stitches. So you're not going to make an invisible decrease, you're just going to make the normal decrease. So just insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, then insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn under and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Then you're going to make 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and make 1 decrease. So this is how the back is going to look like. Now we're going to chain 1. Then you're going to make a slip stitch all along the flap and also the opening of this bag. So you're just going to follow this den or the row as to where you're going to insert your slip stitch. So insert your hook right here and make a slip stitch, and then right here and make a slip stitch. So just continue inserting the slip stitch, then right here, and then you're at the front of the back. Then just insert it through the stitches. Insert it right here. And then just follow each row or wherever you find space. That is where you're going to insert your slip stitch. Now you are at the top of the back again. Just insert it at the top stitch like this. Then you're not going to do the last slip stitch. You're going to cut your yarn and pull through. Now take your darning needle and thread in your yarn, and you're going to do an invisible join. So you're going to insert your needle into the first slip stitch and pull through, and then insert it at the middle of the slip stitch like this and pull through. So you're going to adjust this stitch and make sure that it looks the same as the other stitch. Then insert it into the fake stitch or invisible join and pull. Then insert it into your last slip stitch like this, and all you need to do is just weave in this excess yarn. Then cut. Now you're going to make a slip knot first, and we're going to make this strap. So make a slip knot. Then you're going to insert your needle at the corner of the back right here, and then insert your slip knot into your crochet hook and tighten it up. Now you're just going to pull through. So you're going to chain until this strap lay nicely on top of your cat. Sling nicely on the cat. So this is totally up to you. Now I'm just going to take my cat and try the bag and see if it looks good. And right now, as you can see, my strap is a little too long, so I'm just going to pull 2 chains. And right now it looks nice, so I'm just going to make a slip stitch into the other corner right here. So bring your yarn and insert your hook from the inside of the bag and make a slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 1 and cut your yarn. Then pull and pull the end to tighten up the chain 1. Now all you need to do is just weave in these 2 excess yarn before moving on to the next step. Now what I did with my other cats is I glue on a star shaped beads onto the sling bag, and I also glue on the opening or the flap to the bag so that we can open it, so it kind of acts as a decoration. I also glue this part of the bag just so that I won't lose this bag, but I didn't glue this part. Then I tie on the bow, and you can also tie any yarn that you have and tie a bow onto the neck. Some people ask me how I tie the bow. All I did was just tie the bow normally like this and adjust the bow until it looks nice, and then cut the yarn. So this is how I'm going to glue it on, and also the beads. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again. Bye!